The nation paused on Monday to remember the men and women who fought for our country. Today, we're going to remember a war hero many have forgotten, but who has a place of honor right here in New York. Barry Mitchell visited it on our 50 Blocks, One City, One Year tour.
This week we're up in Harlem at the West 144th Street Colonel Charles Young Playground. You never heard of Colonel Charles Young?
Colonel Charles Young was a household name in Black America around the time of the First World War. He was a famous military man, famous diplomat, famous author, and the third black graduate of West Point.
Gail Buckley is author of the book American Patriots, the story of blacks in the military from the Revolution to Desert Storm.
He was born in 1864 in a log cabin in Kentucky. His parents had been slaves. He was an amazing man. He was the first black U.S. military attaché in Haiti. And then he was military attaché in the Dominican Republic and in Liberia. He was a great hero in Mexico against Pancho Villa, leading the black 10th Cavalry. He rescued the white trapped 13th Cavalry. The commander of the 13th Cavalry said, "Young, I could kiss every black face out there." And Young said, "Well, you can start with mine."
Gail, if Colonel Young was so qualified, why did he not serve in Europe in World War I?
He was kept out of World War I by American racism. He should have been a full colonel and led black troops in World War I. Instead, he was basically retired from the Army on a fake medical discharge. He persevered through his entire career, which was full of that kind of thing. He died in Nigeria in 1922.
Gail, if Colonel Young were alive today, what would he be doing professionally?
He might be very much like Colin Powell. He could be Secretary of State, he might be Secretary of Defense, Secretary of the Army. He could also be anonymous because there are so many black generals today that he might not even be noticed.
And that's Colonel Young's legacy.
Absolutely.
Military man and diplomat of the early 20th century, Colonel Charles Young, remembered here as we go rolling along on our World News Now, 50 Blocks, One City, One Year.
Wow.
I'm learning so much on this, you know that?
It's incredible. And my first thought is, where does he find these places? But it's pretty amazing. It's very interesting.
You also notice that Barry's wearing a tie?
No, I didn't check that.
He was wearing a tie.
And that's unusual in and of itself. Very respectful. That's the news for this hour.
Coming up, more news from ABC.